Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 34 of the J Situation podcast. I'm recording this on October 6th, 2020. Man, a lot has happened since I last spoke to you guys. So, Pew Science released another review. I've had time to dive into some of the recent test data. The President of the United States got COVID. The Q honey badger pistol brace just got deep sixed by the ATF. We're in the first week of October, the first full week of October of 2020. Okay, remember, last time we spoke, when I said we had Halloween coming up, we had the elections, we got Thanksgiving, deer season, and Christmas, right? So like that, this is just like the tip of the iceberg right now. Buckle up, buckaroos, man. This is like, I don't even know, it's gonna get crazy. So, okay, as always, I am pleased to let you know that the J Situation podcast is brought to you by Pew Science, pushing the silencer industry forward one test at a time. Pew Science is the largest ever public small arms research cooperative. All testing and R&D is funded by contributions from the memberships. So you can visit pewscience.com for the suppression rating, the simplest and most accurate hearing safe ratings for your suppressed small arms. The suppression rating is in section 5 of the silencer sound standard. The standard walks you through gunshot noise, sort of like Wikipedia, but cooler, because it's about silencers. There are 6 parts, and they're all on pewscience.com for you to read. If you haven't dug into the silencer sound standard, that is totally fine. You can skip directly to the suppression rating in section 5. It lets you know how silencers stack up in comparison to one another with regard to sound at the muzzle and at the shooter's ear. And it gives you hearing safe dose limits for the particular platforms on which they're tested. You're not going to find this information anywhere else in the world, all right? The 6th and the final section of the standard contains all the reviews. So go check them out at pewscience.com. If you're a manufacturer and you would like to use Pew Science for private testing and consulting services, there is a form on the website with which you can submit that inquiry. Your contact and data and everything you discuss with us will be held in strict confidence. So don't you worry about that. You can support this podcast, Pew Science, and our testing by joining at pewscience.com. And, of course, by giving us a good rating on iTunes. You go on iTunes, you give us a good rating there, give us a 5-star rating. It helps spread the word. Lets the general public know that silencers and guns are awesome. Today, I think I got 6 topics for you. This might be a long one, guys, because just all the stuff that's been happening, and all the stuff I have to talk to you about. Let's see how far we get. Let's see if we can get through all this today. First topic, let's talk about supporting the NFA community. Let's talk about supporting the firearms community. The recent ATF Field Division decision that just came down on the Q brace. That was just made public this evening as I'm speaking right now. I mean, this was in the works, but I think everything hit the fan publicly right now. So I'll give you my thoughts on that. Second topic, Sound Signature Review 623, the Dead Air Sandman-L. That was released last week. We'll talk about that. Third topic, the 11.5-inch upper for the AR15 and M16 with mid-length gas system. Is that a unicorn? It might be. That might be a unicorn. Okay, we'll talk about that and what that means. Topic 4, back pressure. We talk about back pressure a lot. Do we actually care? Or do only some people need to care? Who needs to care? Well, let's let's start talking about that. I think it's time to start talking about that. Topic 5, upcoming testing, public and private. Give you some updates and basically some general business updates for Pew Science. And topic 6, welcome to new Pew Science members, of course. And thank you for your support as always. Okay, let's get into this first topic. This recent ATF letter. You guys see this? You go to Q's website. If you go to liveqordie.com, that's the website of that company named Q. They make silencers and they make a couple guns that are kind of cool. They make the Honey Badger. So Q makes a Honey Badger, which is an AR-15. Okay, it's basically a super lightweight AR-15 with some proprietary parts and mechanisms on it. And like we don't need to make this episode about that. The point here is that they sell a pistol version, which is basically an AR, a short barrel AR with a brace. And then they sell an SBR, a short barrel rifle, which is a short barrel AR with a stock. Okay, and the difference in the ATF size between a pistol and a rifle is that a rifle is intended to be shot from the shoulder. A pistol is intended to be shot without shouldering it. Okay, that's not the exact definition, but for the purpose of the discussion here, it is, because when you have a rifle with a barrel shorter than 16 inches, meaning that it is a firearm that is meant to be shouldered, okay, but it's a rifle, it's a short barrel rifle, okay? If your barrel is less than 16 inches and you shoulder it, it's a short barrel rifle. You feel me? Because what's a rifle? What's a gun you want to? You're gonna have to shoulder it to be a rifle, according to the all wise and powerful ATF. Okay. Has a rifled barrel. You shoulder it. It's a rifle. All right. Well, as I'm recording this right now, as I'm speaking to you right now, you're probably going to listen to this tomorrow, but right now, on October 6th, 2020, this is actually kind of interesting for you folks that have never witnessed an ATF infringement, like in real time. But this has happened over the decades and decades, multiple times. I mean, not this exact case, but the ATF has waffled and changed their minds on things like that's what they do. When you're actually, you know what? Later, if you have time, why don't you Google shoelace machine gun? I want you to Google shoelace machine gun. Okay? I don't even need to tell you any more about that. I just want you to Google it, and I need you to read everything you can about it. And if you aren't upset about the ATF now, you will be. Okay? It's going to take you down a rabbit hole, and frankly, good. I'm here to waste your day. I'm here to waste your day. Buckle up, baby. You're going to waste your day. You're going to go down a rabbit hole. You get all pissed, and that's what we need. We need you to get pissed. Okay, then we need you to go outside. We need you to peacefully protest. Okay, no, I'm getting off track. Okay, listen. So, the ATF has changed their minds, and they have now reclassified informally or formally, depending on your definition of informal or formal, the classification of the Honey Badger pistol. They are calling it a firearm that can be shouldered, meaning that they are calling it a short barrel rifle. The implication of that is that they're classifying it the same way as the SBR Honey Badger. So the implication of that is that the Honey Badger stock and the Honey Badger pistol brace are the same in the eyes of the ATF. Okay? Like, that's what they're saying. They're saying that the Honey Badger pistol brace and the Honey Badger stock assembly form the same function, even though those have already been approved by the ATF and classified as previously as a brace and a stock. So I'm driving this point home. What you're reading in that letter is that the ATF is now saying, just kidding, they're all the same thing on these guns. Or are they? Okay, so there's a rub here now. Here's the thing. The really interesting thing about this is that they're referencing how the item is intended to be used in the letter. If you read the letter, you can go to liveqordie.com. You can read the cease and desist letter from the ATF. They are looking at how it is meant to be used. And they're saying, well, this is clearly meant to be a rifle. It's meant to be shouldered. It's like, okay. So these guys, the evaluation guys at ATF that these got this stuff submitted to them before to see, like, check it out, see if it was okay, right? They looked at it and they were like, well, this is clearly fine. This is a pistol. Here you go. This is a pistol brace. It's a pistol brace. It's approved. It's a pistol brace. Knock yourself out. Now they're saying, well, I think people are intending to use this for like a rifle, so now it's a rifle and we got to tax it. So the ATF is making the decision based upon a use case they didn't anticipate. So the ATF is trying to tell you that they looked at something, they looked at an object, and they saw that object, they were like, okay, cool, this is object A. Now they're saying, well, this is object A, but it can be used as object B. But they didn't figure that out before. All of a sudden, now they think that, because they feel that the intent has changed, and intent now is defining what when a firearm is. They're changing intent. They're using intent now. That's what the letter says. Read it. Well, you know what? Should we pull it up? Should I pull this up? Let me pull it up. Screw it. I don't know how long this podcast is going to be, but strap in. Okay. I just pulled it up. It's dated August 3rd of this year. They open and say, this is in reference to blah, 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 blah. This is what it is. Da, da, da. Okay. They say it's a firearm. Then they say, hey. Oh, and by the way, they bring up the sugar wheels and the minifix too, of course, because, those are also on the website. They're like, yeah, these, they say, which may also be firearms. They say, which may also, like they don't know, because they haven't examined them. Just BS, man. And they're like, yeah, so the NFA defines a firearm to include, in relevant part, a rifle having a barrel or barrels of less than 16 inches in length. A rifle is defined under Section 5845C as a weapon designed or redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder, and designed or redesigned and made or remade to use the energy of the explosive in a fixed cartridge to fire only a single projectile to the rifle bore for each single pull of the trigger, and shall include any such weapon which may be readily restored to fire a fixed cartridge. Okay, forget about all that stuff. That's gun. That's the gun part. The first part is the important part. A weapon designed or redesigned, made or remade, and intended to be fired from the shoulder. It's a firearm. Rifle. It's a firearm and it's a rifle. Okay. Cool. They said that hey, they examined it. They examined it, and then the Honey Badger pistol, manufactured and marketed by Q, it's an SBR. It's a short barrel rifle. Okay. So they're saying that in the first page. They get right down to it, man. Tell you what. And they're like, then it's illegal. You're gonna go to jail. Da, da, da. You know, it's interesting. Second page, they say, hey, Honey Badger pistol, it's equipped with a proprietary pistol brace. They put it in quotes. They say, pistol stabilizing brace made by SB Tactical. They call it out as a pistol stabilizing brace made by SB Tactical. They keep referencing it as a firearm. Hey, it's a firearm, has an overall length of approximately 20 to 25 inches and a barrel length of approximately 7 inches. Yeah, that's the Honey Badger, okay. Another crazy thing is the objective design features of the Honey Badger firearm configured with the subject stabilizing brace indicate the firearm is designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder. So they make quite the leap here. They go from, they're on the first page, they're sitting here, they're quoting the Gun Control Act, blah, blah, blah. They're quoting, U.S. Code 5871, we're going to fine you 10 grand, blah, blah, blah. Here's what a rifle is. So they're starting off strong. They're like, yeah, here's what a rifle is. Okay. Your gun's a firearm. Here's what a rifle is. And by the way, your gun's a short barrel rifle. And they go on the second page and say, you know why it's a short barrel rifle? It's because you have a pistol brace on it and the design is intended to be fired from the shoulder. They're classifying the gun as a short barrel rifle because the way the gun is to be used. This is about use case now. This isn't even about brace, guys. This isn't about brace. This is about use of the weapon now. What we don't know about this, guys, is how they made that determination. Like, I don't know. I talked to Q, but I haven't talked to them in detail a lot about it. I just talked to them a little bit. Right now, I don't know what they're using, what ATF is using for evidence to determine that this is intended to be shouldered. So, but that's important because you need to look at the first paragraph, the first full paragraph on page 2 of the cease and desist, okay? The Honey Badger pistol is equipped with a proprietary pistol stabilizing brace accessory made by SB Tactical. The firearm has an overall length of approximately 20 to 25 inches and a barrel length of approximately 7 inches. The objective design features of the Honey Badger firearm configured with the subject stabilizing brace, this time stabilizing brace not in quotes, indicate the firearm is designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder. The objective design features okay, take away the descriptor and just read that part of the sentence. The objective design features indicate the firearm is designed and intended to be fired from the shoulder. So they've changed their mind. You know, every gun you sell has to go, the ATF has to approve that. You can't just... So someone at the ATF decided to write this letter. And I don't know who wrote it. I know who signed it. I know whose name's on it. I don't know who wrote it. I don't know who really wrote it, you know what I mean? I don't know who told him to write it, whoever wrote it. I don't know whoever wrote it and whoever told him to write it. What I do know is what this means is that we had pistol braces and people put them on guns. And the ATF doesn't like it. Because the ATF can't get paid. Right? ATF can't get, I mean, they get a tax when you sell a gun, but like they don't get their sweet NFA tax, do they? They don't get to tax the right when you do that as much. You know, they don't get that sweet $200 tax stamp. So yeah, man, I mean, the letter goes on. You can read it and get pissed. I mean, you can keep reading it. They're all like, you need to cease and desist and not make these anymore. Hamana. You need to go ahead and develop a plan to go ahead and what we're going to have to do is what we're going to need you to do, we're going to have to, have you guys go ahead and come in on a Saturday. Yeah. That would be great. Like that's what they're like, straight up office space right now. Like this is literally administrative hell. And it's interesting. Second, on the second page, in the second full paragraph, it does say that the Firearms and Ammunition Technology Division, they make firearm classifications based on the physical samples of firearms as received, and that this letter is not an official classification. So what they're saying is like, you need to contact the ATF. This is back in August, so I'm like really confused about this. It's like, it's clear to me that like Q already did this. They tried to do it. Like they tried to work with the ATF. You know what I mean? So that's like, it's just so, I don't know, guys. Like I'm so upset for the industry right now. Like it sucks for Q, obviously. And like, I know those guys, they're cool. Like it sucks for them. It sucks for their company to have to deal with something like this. Right? I mean, the ATF has allowed pistol braces to be braces and the guns on which they are installed to be stocks for many things already in consumer hands. Some industry folks and I were speculating today. I don't know if it's an ATF money grab. I really don't, guys. Or someone had it out for Q and wanted to make an example of them or something, or both. Like, I don't know. But it's a shame. And, the fact that you're able to sell an AR pistol, to get those AR pistols in the most folks' hands possible, is a really good thing. And you want the most folks to have access to these types of weapons, guys. You really do. That can only benefit society. You always want the most people to have weapons. You want to arm everybody. You do not want to disarm a society. Okay? The ATF wants to disarm you, and they want to tax you for any arms you have. Okay, that's what they do. It's not their fault. It's in their nature. It's in their nature. Okay? They're the government. They're here to tax you. It's in their nature. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Okay? What did Ice-T say? Don't hate the player, hate the game. Remember, that's the anthem of 2020. The ATF is not your friends. They want to control you. Okay? Now, I will say this. It is important to obey the law. It is important to obey the law of the land, and it is important to do your civic duty and to be an upstanding citizen. Okay? An upstanding member of society. It's important. But it's also important to stand up for what's right. And what is right now is to support the cause. I think it's important to support this cause here. Okay, so Q put a link on their website to sign a document that it's sent directly to the Department of Justice, I guess. indicating this misstep. Okay, this is it's like one of those form letter things. But if enough people send it, it creates a louder noise. Okay, it's sending it to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice is where the ATF resides. Like that's what they're under. So, okay. I think regardless of how you feel about certain companies, how you feel about Q, their silencers, their guns, whatever, if you're on the side of the free people in this country, you need to go sign and submit the letter. Like, put your freaking personal biases aside and do the right thing. Let your voice be heard. Okay? Are you for the people? Or are you not for the people? Okay, it's pretty simple. It's like, and they made it easy. Like you can literally click on it on your phone or computer and fill it out. Like just fill it out. Just do it. Go to liveqordie.com. There's a form letter link on there. I put it in my Instagram story too. Maybe I should put it on the website. I don't know. I think they have enough people come to their website. Just go to liveqordie.com. But I think every little bit helps. It's like any of these things. This is going to be like a grassroots thing. Like they're going to need your support, right? They're going to need your support to get through this. So go help them out. This isn't a political thing, guys. This isn't political. This is a free people thing. This is about people. This isn't a Republican or Democrat thing. Okay, this isn't a you like silencer company ABC thing. This isn't that. This isn't about your politics, and it's not about which gun company you like. This is about free people in the United States. Okay, so this is bigger than you. Okay, this is about us. This is about all of us. So go help them out. I don't know another mechanism right now. I got some questions from people asking, like if there was someone besides the NRA through which like you could send a letter or something. The answer to that right now is I don't know. Like I really don't know. For now, I would just use that form. I think that's the smartest thing to do right now. Like as I know updates, I'll let you guys know, but you basically know what to do. Like again, I talked to the folks at Q. They're working hard to get through it, man. Like stuff like this is a shame. It affects all of us. Remember, if once one goes, they all go, man. Like, you know how many people own pistol braces on ARs? Like I even have a couple of them. I mean, I have a machine gun too. I have SBRs and stuff, but like I have some pistol braces on some AR pistols. I have some. Okay. What's $200 times the amount of pistol brace ARs in public hands right now? How many felons are they going to create if all these become reclassified? Okay, it has pretty widespread implications when you think about it. Again, the interesting thing in the interesting thing to me, I mean, this is all pretty interesting. Like, academically, just, intellectually, it's interesting as a phenomenon rather. The interesting thing though, in this particular instance is in the letter when they spoke about the marketing of the items. Like it's almost as if they were referencing that as a way to say these things are intended to be shouldered. So like the ATF approved the design, then they see that you can hold it differently, and then they anticipated you would hold it, and it becomes illegal. Like that's what they're saying. So they have to tax it. They have to tax it now to protect the American people. Because if you have a gun and you can hold it a certain way, it's not a threat. As soon as you hold it a different way, you have to tax it for safety and freedom. Don't you guys understand? I'm livid, man. I'm livid about this. I think it's stupid. I think it's interesting. Like I said that when I first started talking about this, if you haven't witnessed, Like, you guys remember the bump stock thing, right? That was BS. They reclassified bump stocks as machine guns. And because the bump stocks were made after May of 1986, they're contraband. Because a civilian can't own a machine gun manufactured after May of 1986 due to the Hughes Amendment. And unless you have like an SOT. Unless you pay more taxes. You see what I mean? This has nothing to do with anything but money, guys. You know what they're going to say? They're going to say, well, it's not the money, it's the background check. We need to be able to take your fingerprints to protect everyone from you. That's why we need your fingerprints when you have a silencer or a short barrel rifle, a machine gun, because these weapons they need to be controlled at a higher level than other weapons. Because shortening the barrel of a rifle makes it more dangerous. Even though the velocity is lower, so it's technically not as lethal because technically don't have the range you would have with a longer barrel. You know, ballistics are inferior, and then so I mean, there's that, but that's just like, that's like facts. Like, you don't want to talk facts when you're talking about this stuff. You want to talk about fear. You talk about BS. You talk about tax. Okay, talking about money here. I tell you what, man, I could do a whole episode on this. I could do a whole hour on this, but I'm not going to because I'm getting really upset right now. Like, I'm about ready to shut this down right now and not even talk about any other stuff I was going to talk about. I probably should have. You know what? At first, I was going to hold this to the end. I wish I did. Okay, it might take me a second to like get positive again, guys. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really upset right now. Like, I'm really upset. Okay. Topic 2. Sound signature review 623. The Dead Air Sandman-L. Yeah. Okay, oh shit. All right, let's try to get positive. Okay. So, what a great silencer to get positive with, right? Oh man, you're not gonna like what I say about this one. Oh, okay. Oh man. Is this episode gonna be like the death of me? There I am. There I am, guys. I'm laughing. Okay, we're back. Okay, a lot to cover. I think it's important that we talk about the Sandman-L. I'm glad I tested it. Last week I released the review. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's on pewscience.com, and it is Sound Signature Review 23. This is the test, again, of the Dead Air Sandman-L on the Savage Model 10 Precision Carbine 20-inch barrel bolt-action rifle. Okay, that's the standard 308 bolt-action Pew Science test host. The 20-inch bolt-action is something that many people use for deer hunting, target shooting with 308, okay? Things like that. And I think it's an excellent test host because it's simple. We know how it performs. It's well characterized. And I think the performance is relatable to a lot of people. Okay, that's what I think. And that's why I've continued to use it. And I think people are finding it valuable. Okay? There is actually something I want to say specifically about the 7.62x51 NATO cartridge. The cartridge itself has a lot of combustion energy. Okay? I say that compared to something like 5.56x45 or 7.62x39, the AK round, or 300 Blackout. Okay, so for this reason, we really get to exercise the gas flow characteristics of the silencers. Do you feel me? So as many popular rifle silencers have a 30 caliber bore, the 7.62x51 round, you know, the 7.62 NATO, you know, or 308, the rounds of this cartridge size, what they do is they let us really test suppression and test the full potential of a silencer. Now, sure, we could use an even more powerful cartridge like 300 Win Mag or like a 30-06 or some other Magnum type rifle rounds. We could definitely do that now. And, you know, I think 308 is a good cartridge on which to test for now. We're eventually going to test performance on Magnum cartridges, but I think the 308 platform offers a very good performance differential and playing field for now. It highlights what happens when the silencer gets filled with gas for a long duration, and that is critical to understanding silencer behavior. I really do think that, okay? Now, I bring this up because I have received some constructive feedback from some members who tell me that they are more concerned with how loud the silencers are on 5.56, and they don't care that much about bolt action 308, okay? But it's very important for you to understand that without bolt action rifle, okay, without that controlled bolt action rifle characterization, you will not fully understand the performance of a silencer. End of story. You will not. You will not. There are shortcuts we could take, and we could forego a lot of the bolt gun testing, but I think that would be doing a disservice to the state of practice, okay? I really do believe that. Okay, I think it would be a disservice. Okay, so let's get into the review now. So this is the final silencer in the Sandman series. Every other Sandman silencer has been reviewed on 308 bolt action on pewscience.com. We started it off in review 611 with the Sandman-S. We hit the Sandman-K in 615. And then we examined the Sandman-TI, the titanium Sandman, in 619. Okay? And now, finally, the Sandman-L is 623. So now you have literally a full suite comparison of the Sandman series from Dead Air. I'll be doing a comprehensive comparison article in the future for you guys, okay? Don't worry. But right now, you have all 4 reviews for consumption. That's a lot of data, okay? Now, the Sandman-L weighs 25.4 ounces with the chemo, or I'm sorry, it's not the chemo, it's the key mount, because the chemo is that separate mount interface you can use on third-party silencers. The Sandman-L has the key mount system, okay, because the mount itself is welded to the back of the silencer, just like the S and the K, okay? And so with the key mount flash hider, the Sandman-L system, total system, weighs 25.4 ounces. That is extremely heavy, I have to say, if I'm being honest. Which I am, because I'm honest. If I'm being honest. No, if I'm going to lie to you. Judge for yourself if 25.4 ounces is heavy. It's heavy. That is heavier than the largest silencer from Rugged, the Surge, which weighs 24.9 ounces, okay, with its flash hider. Well, you use the M2 brake with the Surge, it weighs less than that. It's probably, what is it? I don't know, you probably get closer to 20 ounces or so with the long configuration of the Surge with M2 brake maybe. I don't know what it weighs. But anyway, Sandman-L is super heavy. And it's about the same length as the Surge. Okay, so it's heavier and it's about the same length as the Surge. That's pretty much, okay, long and heavy. Okay, enough about that. Now, it has a stellite core that's fully welded in there. The baffles are stellite and they're welded together. You feel me? That's similar to the other Sandman. Similar. The Sandman-L is actually just like the Sandman-TI, but the outer tube is steel instead of titanium. And the Sandman-L has the mount interface welded to it for the key mount, like the S and the K, but the Sandman-TI is direct thread. So other than the mount, direct thread versus key mount, and the material of the outer tube, steel versus titanium, the L and the TI are basically the same rifle silencer. Okay? They're the same. They're the same silencer. Okay, so what did it score? What did the Sandman-L score? What Pew Science suppression rating did it get? And again, if you haven't seen the suppression rating, you have to go to pewscience.com, check out section 5 of the Silencer Sound Standard. It's going to explain it to you. At the muzzle, it scored a 24.8. And at the ear, 38.9. Okay, so 38.9 is actually pretty high. That's louder than the Rugged Surge, though, and it's louder than the Thunder Chicken, and it's louder than the Sandman TI, and the CGS Helios. So while it's pretty good on this host weapon, it's not the quietest. I mean, it's good. It's just not quite as good as those other silencers. And it's interesting. It's interesting that that's true. And look, this is what I'm about to say. It might be controversial, but this is just facts. But I went to Dead Air's website, and on the product page for the Sandman-L, it says it's the quietest 7.62 suppressor on the market. Okay? That is clearly not true. But you know what? Maybe they wrote that a super long time ago. It's very possible. I don't know. I mean, it's been out for a long time. I actually don't know when. I don't even know when the silencer came on the market. I think it came on the market a few years ago. Several years ago. But I can tell you that not only are other silencers shown on pewscience.com quieter, there are ones you haven't even seen yet that are quieter. Like there's even more. So make sure you understand that. So this is based on objective data. Like I don't know why it would say that it's the quietest. Like it's not. I mean, I know other manufacturers have said that, like in marketing stuff, like verbally. But like that's actually written on their website. So I was like, whoa, that's crazy. Like, are you serious right now? And the reason I went to the website was because I wanted to verify like the nomenclature of what they call stuff and like the weight of some different components. You know, like before I write every review, I kind of go to the website and I'm like, you know, I need to look and see, make sure that I'm, you know, I'm representing the silencer correctly. You know, and factually and objectively. And I read that description and I was like, what? That's not the quietest silencer at all. Well, that's not true. That like kind of bugged me a little bit. Like as a consumer, not as like Pew Science, I don't care. I actually don't care what it says. I mean, you could say this silencer opens up a black hole and light can't escape. I'm like, dang, that's crazy. And I wouldn't care because I don't care what it says. But as a consumer, I'd be like, that doesn't do that. You know what I mean? Jelly bean? Okay, anyway. Let's look at some more data. When you look at the early time pressure history, okay? I've been doing that for these 308 bolt actions. I've been giving it this early time pressure history. I just think it's super interesting. I'm going to keep doing that because I think it really shows what's going on. So if you look at figure 1 of the review, you can see that the waveform, what it does, the characteristics are basically textbook long duration before peak. So what I'm kind of trying to say here is that you get that end cap exit and then you get this period of time. I mean, it's not very long. It's about a millisecond or so or less where gas is just like not coming out. You know, because I guess it just hasn't come out yet. It's like the bullet's gone, the gas got trapped. It's like having trouble coming out, and then it starts to come out. And that gap, that's helping you understand how long it's taking for flow to occur, how much flow restriction there is. You can almost get a feel qualitatively by looking at the shape of the graph to determine how much back pressure there is sometimes, depending, like there's some other things to look at too, and that's why we do. That's why we look at a lot of other parameters and we integrate the waveforms and we plot them differently so we can understand. But so if you're not adept at looking at those waveforms and judging that from like what you see in figure 1, that's okay. If you go to figure 4, scroll down on the page. I'm scrolling right now, so you can follow along at home if you want. If you scroll down all the way, you pass the pressure stuff, you go to figure 4, you can see an impulse space, okay? This is like the area under the pressure time curves that I've numerically integrated over time. you can see it in impulse space. And what I've done is I've computed the relative time it takes to dump the gas out of the silencer, and I boiled it down. So basically, the time from 0 impulse, where you have no impulse, all the way to the time it takes to get to peak impulse, I've recorded all those times. And then what I did was I boiled them all down. Then if you scroll way down more in the review, if you scroll down to figure 7, you can see the comparisons of and that's what the back pressure metric is. How fast does the gas get out? And the higher the metric, the longer it takes to get out. Okay. So you can see that these are relative numbers with the back pressure, and that the Sandman-L has relatively high back pressure, but it's actually lower than the Sandman-TI just by a little bit, you know what I mean? So that's interesting. I don't know why that is. It could be in the noise, maybe. You know what I mean? Like, it's so close. I don't know. But it's to be expected it's relatively high. And, you know, look, you have a long silencer that's trying to be quiet. That means it's going to restrict gas flow. That's all there is to it. That means that it's going to ramp up back pressure. That's how that works. So the peak sound pressure at the muzzle, 1 meter to the left, average is 147.1 dB. Okay. The impulse was at 129.2 decibel milliseconds. So it's quieter at the ear, though. If you members can see those numbers. Now, again, you're sitting at a suppression rating of 38.9 at the ear. That's good. That's something you can comfortably shoot on a bolt gun, but you don't want to shoot it all day long. But you can definitely shoot it on a bolt gun without ears. Now, the interesting thing to note is that the Sandman-TI got a 41.3 score at the ear. Okay, just a little higher than the Sandman-L. Really not a huge difference, but the difference is measurable, and I think it's due to the mount. I really do. The Sandman-L has some more volume in that front blast chamber because it direct threads to the rifle. Oh, I'm sorry. The TI, not the L. The Sandman-TI has more volume because it direct threads to the rifle. And the L has the flash hider sitting in there and taking up volume. Okay. Now, is that the only reason for the difference? Maybe. I spoke with the designer of the silencer, and he seemed to think that this was the reason. And he actually told me before I told him it was a little louder than the TI about his conclusion, and his conclusions agree with mine. That was kind of cool. I love it when it's blind like that. I love it. So far, I think that all the conclusions I have drawn, I think all the conclusions I have drawn have agreed with those from the manufacturers. I mean, there might be some things here and there that they don't believe that from what I say, but I think overall, I think they believe in me, which is good. I think I'm showing that I can be trusted because I'm showing phenomena that scales with their expectations and their observations. Now, whether or not they like that or not, or whether or not they want that to be public or not, well, this is public testing. Like, this is my own effort. Like, this isn't funded by them. Now, so public testing, this is funded by you guys listening, man. This is Pew Science public testing. So I'm going to say what I say, and I'm not going to say anything. I'm not saying anything disparaging. I'm definitely stating facts here. Okay, guys, this is all performance facts. Now, I feel like I don't have tons to say about the silencer, honestly, guys. I really don't. I don't know if I'm just getting bored, like looking at some of these silencers or what. Like, I don't know why. I just don't have a lot to say about the silencer. I'm trying to be honest with you. I do not want to go through the motions in this stuff. Okay, I don't want this to turn into going through the motions and like, oh, here's another review. Like, I don't like that. Like, I like to make forward progress, and I want to keep getting better at what we're doing and show you more important things. And I want to give you conclusions that are decisive and important and useful to you. Okay? And I know this is important because a lot of people own this silencer or they're looking to buy the silencer. So I want to make sure that I give this the attention it deserves. Okay, but look, here's some things I want to say about the Sandman-L. Let's look at the data here. It's heavy. It's not the quietest. I mean, it's quiet for sure, but it's not going to win. It's not going to win a quiet contest. It's just not. It's durable. Yes, it's durable. You could put it on a machine gun, but it's really heavy. But you just have to know that. But hey, that's good. Heavy can be good, guys. Heavy can be good for a machine gun. But it's big to lug around. And how many of you have machine guns? You got to think about that too. Like, be real with yourself. Are you ever going to own a machine gun? Like, if you're not, then, and you don't shoot a lot, then be real with yourself. I mean, that's my opinion. For the length, I think the back pressure is actually decent. I really do. I think that's probably because of the huge center holes in the Sandman baffles. I mean, that's how the Sandman series works. It lets gas flow quickly, but it still traps a lot. Like, that's kind of what it does. So that's what you want to do when you're trying to balance back pressure and suppression, I think. I think that's what you want to do. You want to let the gas out. You want to let it flow, but you want to trap it. And depending on how much you trap, your flow will be different. There's like balances, right? So anyway, those are the takeaways. You're getting the Sandman baffles in a longer package so you can be quieter. Take the Sandman S, make it longer, add some more baffles, you get the L. There's nothing magic to it. But you can see that they found the sweet spot with the back pressure, right? I mean, you go from an S to an L, you get quieter, but how much quieter? Is it quieter enough to like make it worth it to you for the length? It might not be. It depends what you're doing with the silencer. I'm not here to tell you what to buy. I'm just telling you, now you have data for the L and the S, and you can make your decisions. And the loudness for supersonic should scale pretty well, so you can probably extrapolate that. Now, if you've only shot one of them, and you want to know how the other one will sound. Within reason. Okay. Keep in mind, 308's like a lot of powder, so it's like filling up the silencer pretty fast. Now, why would you buy the Sandman-L over the TI, over the titanium? Is a question that you probably have if you're interested in these silencers. Well, if you want a long dead air silencer, why would you go for this one? Well, I guess it would have to be for the key mount, or if you were using it on a machine gun. I mean, the titanium version has stellite baffles still. I mean, just because it has a titanium tube doesn't mean you can't shoot it a lot. I mean, I would say that the TI is probably the better silencer, in my opinion, like my personal opinion, because it's a little quieter and it's lighter. I actually see no reason for the Sandman-L except for the mount. If you have that mount, then fine, get the Sandman-L, right? I don't know. I suppose also like a 5.56 AR is threaded half 28, right? And the Sandman TI is direct thread, but 5/8 24. So to use half 28, you get a key mount flash hider, and then you put the Sandman-L on that. But that kind of sucks because I wonder if there's a way to use a half 28, half inch, that is half inch diameter threads at 28 threads per inch. I wonder if there's a way to use half 28 with a Sandman TI. I wouldn't imagine there would be. I mean, You know, it's interesting. The TI is actually a silencer I would put on a short barrel 5.56, even though it's titanium, maybe. I think I would do that. I guess you could use it on a 300 blackout due to the thread pitch. That's one thing. Oh, that's one thing you could do. You could use the same in TI and 300 blackout. That's what you could do. Because the thread pitch for 300 blackout's 5/8 24. Okay, so all's not lost, I guess. If you want to use it on something like in the AR platform that's AR15 wise, instead of like 308 AR. I don't know. I find the lack of a changeable thread insert on the back of the TI to be weird. Like if I was dead air, I would make a changeable thread insert for that. Like that would make way more sense to me. I don't know. Maybe this is just ignorance, and I don't know. And there's actually a half 28 option for the TI, but I don't think so because I went to the website and I looked. I looked at the manual, and I didn't see it. Oh, that's interesting. Anyway, so I mean, yeah, if you like the dead air key mount, which a lot of people like, and you want to be quieter than your S or your K, the L could be for you. I don't know, maybe. I don't know. If you like the mount, I could see that. Other than that, I don't know. I really don't see a reason for this silencer over something like the Rugged Surge. I'd get the Surge. I mean, if you're in the market for a silencer like this, get the Surge. Very similar silencer, right? But it's quieter and more versatile, I think. Better mount. And then, or, you know, maybe a Silencer Co. Omega. Maybe you get a Silencer Co. Omega. That's a very similar silencer performance-wise. It's almost the exact same loudness. And actually the Omega has a little bit lower back pressure than the Sandman-L because the Omega is shorter. And the Omega is way lighter too. Oh yeah, I just thought of that. That's actually true. Like if you actually, unless you're going hardcore on a machine gun and you want a key mount, I think there's better options in the L. Because look, if you're just shooting on a bolt gun, dude, there's tons of better options. But it's a loud, so I don't know, would you use the Sandman-L on an AR? Like what if you had a short barrel AR so you could add a lot of length and still be in an acceptable footprint? What about then? Would you do it then? Would you put the Sandman-L then on a short barrel AR? Why would you do that? Is there a case? I don't know. Let's talk about a short barrel 5.56 AR right now. Let's go to the next topic. Topic three. The 11.5 inch AR15 and M16 with mid-length gas. Is this a unicorn? Quite possibly. Quite possibly, maybe. Okay, I mean, when I first started talking about testing 5.56, I did a few Instagram polls. I spoke with a lot of people. The DMs were numerous. I don't know, really, we ended up thinking that 11.5 inch, 14.5 inch, 16 inch, and 18 inch were all things that folks were really interested in. And by serendipity or rough chance or luck or whatever, it just so happens that I had an 11.5 inch barrel laying around on my workbench with a mid-length gas port location. Okay, and it's made by Faxon Firearms. It's not a normal barrel. And if you're familiar with the AR-15 or if you have been listening to this journey of the testing on this platform, you know this. I've talked about this several times. You know that the dwell time is very short when the gas system is long, but the barrel is short, okay? Faxon developed this barrel specifically for use with silencers. Okay? Like that's why they developed this barrel. That's why we're using it. Well, that's not why we're using it. We're using it because I had it, but that's why you would want to use it. So let's talk about it. There are a couple things that are weird when you use a barrel like this. I've been examining the data, okay? Super short dwell time. We talked about that. And the recoil pulse seems to be different. Okay, it's interesting. Now, let's talk about why that is. Why would the recoil be different? Okay, well, take a normal 11.5-inch barrel with a carbine length gas system instead. Okay. In a carbine length gas system, the gas port is much further away from the barrel muzzle. Okay, it's further, it's toward the shooter more. So the amount of time that the gas port is subjected to the combustion products pushing the projectile through the barrel is longer. That amount of time is longer. The bolt carrier, okay, with the bolt in it, it's going to want to unlock using that gas impingement from on the carrier key. Okay, the gas comes from the gas port through the gas tube to the carrier key, and then it wants to unlock the bolt. Now, we keep the bolt closed until we need it to open. We do that with a few features. We use locking lugs to engage into the barrel extension until the bolt rotates. Nothing we can do to change those mechanics with a standard bolt, okay? That is what it is. But what you can do is you can lengthen the cam path in the carrier so that the carrier can travel rearward for longer before the bolt rotates completely to unlock. But that's all you can do there, okay, at that interface right now with standard parts and a longer carrier cam path, okay? So without a radical change, that's the mechanics you can change. Now, the second thing, how we keep it closed, is we use mass to keep it closed. Because all things that have mass have something called inertia. Okay? This is provided by the weight of the bolt carrier, the bolt itself, and the buffer. Because they're all touching each other. Okay? The third thing we can do to keep the bolt closed until we need it to open is you have a recoil spring that's acting on it. That provides a lot of resistance at the end of the stroke, but while it's fully compressed. But prior to unlocking, when the spring is not as compressed, the force is very small. So that's just a small thing. But that's it. Those three things, the locking lugs, the mass, and the recoil spring, that's it. That's it. That's what keeps your action closed until it's time to extract the case. You obviously can't keep it closed forever because it wouldn't be a reciprocating system. It would be a single shot firearm. So we have to let it cycle. We have to let the weapon cycle. We have to. But the name of the game for silencers is to let the pressure drop to the absolute lowest amplitude possible before you open it. It's like, imagine you have a bottle full of compressed air and you open it when it's under pressure. The lid's gonna fly right off when you crack that lid. But what if you poked a little hole in it and you let it kind of sit for a while, then you open the lid? The lid's fine. Lid doesn't fly off, there's not a big burst of air. You're opening it under lower pressure. That's what we're trying to do with an AR for silencer use, okay? It's really simplistic. I'm being very simplistic in my description here, but bear with me. The lower the pressure, the quieter the sound. Sound is pressure. Literally, it's overpressure in the air. That's what sound is. So to recap, delayed unlocking mechanically with lug engagement due to cam path, increased mass, and forget about the spring. Okay, so mechanics and mass. That's what we're doing here. Now, back to the carbine length system on 11.5. You got quite a lot of dwell time with the carbine. So I have a follower on Instagram. I reposted this to my story the other day because I wanted folks to see his comment. And I wanted you guys to see my response to his comment. Okay? He informed me in DM that he decided to use an LMT enhanced carrier and it delayed his unlocking on his 13.9 inch, let's call it 14 inches, on his 14-inch mid-length system with an A5H2 buffer with an untuned gas port. Again, it delayed his unlocking. He equated the behavior to going up in a buffer weight. That's the difference that he noticed on his system, okay? A carbine length gas system has the gas port about 9 inches away from the chamber, okay? So on his 14-inch gun, he had about 5 inches of barrel length past the gas port in which to dwell. So in this case, the delayed unlocking of the carrier helped him. He had an A5H2 buffer. So forget about the A5 for a second and just focus on the mass. That's about 5.3 ounces. A regular H2 buffer is about 4.7. Okay, so his A5H2 buffer is 5.3 ounces. A regular H3 buffer is 5.6 ounces. So he's pretty close to a regular H3. He's pretty close. Okay? Okay. Pretty close. So that's good. That's good information. Because guess what I just tested? I just tested 3 different bolt carrier group configurations. I tested a mil-spec bolt and carrier with an H3 buffer. I tested the enhanced LMT carrier with a normal mil-spec bolt with an H3 buffer. And I tested the Surefire optimized bolt carrier, the Surefire OBC, which happens to have its proprietary buffer, and that is the same weight as the LMT or mil-spec with H3 buffers, all around 17 ounces or so. Pretty close. So I tested all of these on the 11.5-inch mid-length gas, the Pew Science test upper, okay? So I had 11.5 inches, let's see, what's the length of the, no, shoot, no, I'm sorry. That guy had a mid-length system. Oh, I gotta Google it now because I don't know. Wait a minute. No, did I say I said that wrong? I said that wrong earlier. The mid-length gas system has the gas port 9 inches from the chamber. I said carbine length. I'm sorry. No. Okay. So the guy had a 14-inch mid-length system. I have an 11.5-inch mid-length. Okay. The length of the gas port from chamber to gas port is 9 inches. Okay, I said that. That's right. I said carbine, I meant mid-length. Okay, so on 11.5-inch mid-length, I have 11.5-inch minus 9 is 2.5 inches of dwell length. Okay? I have 2.5 inches of dwell length. He had 5 inches, right? Because he had a 14-inch barrel. 14 minus 9 is 5. These are approximate numbers. Okay? And we had different silencers. But whatever. Just forget it. We're talking about dwell length. We're talking about just the bare barrel. The bare barrel. Okay, so I had 2.5 inches of dwell length. This guy had 5 inches of dwell length. He has double the dwell length. I have half the length of time to dump gas into the gas port that he has. I have only half the time to dump gas into the gas port before the bullet leaves the barrel. He has twice as long that his system will be dumping gas into the gas port. No matter what. That time dimension, no matter what. That bullet is traveling at the speed it's traveling down that barrel, and he's going to be dumping gas for twice as long as me into the gas port. Okay? Roughly. Guess what? He didn't tune his port. So in addition to most likely having a larger flow area, because he didn't tune his gas port with an adjustable gas block, He also had a longer flow duration. He had double the flow duration. But what happened when he switched from the regular mil-spec carrier to he switched to the LMT enhanced and delayed unlocking mechanically? He delayed it enough to reduce gas to his face. That's what his anecdotal experience was. He delayed the unlocking enough to reduce gas to his face. He, again, like I said earlier, he likened it to, he compared it to actually using a heavier buffer. That's how much of a difference it was, guys. Okay? Well, I'm here to tell you in my testing with the mil-spec and H3 buffer and the LMT with H3 buffer and the Surefire OBC, in my testing, there was no difference in sound at the shooter's ear at all with any of those three configurations. Literally, like the suppression rating at the shooter's ear was like almost the same. Like in the noise. Like it was a little bit different, but it was like it didn't matter. Like there was no clear winner, is what I'm saying. And I tested that with a very high back pressure silencer on the gun and a very low back pressure silencer on the gun, with the gun tuned for each silencer. And there was like really no difference at the ear between those three carriers. I controlled for mass, right? They all weighed around 17 ounces. I told you that. The mil-spec setup actually weighed 0.2 ounces more, so barely more. But it did weigh a little more. That's true. Okay, so what are the differences between my system and the other gentleman's system? He has a little less mass, right? Because 5.3 ounces versus 5.6, okay. He has a little less mass. He has more dwell time. And he has a bigger gas port. But his carrier helped him. Mine didn't. So what does that mean? What does this mean? It means that these carriers only help you when you have gas impulse over a certain threshold. That's what it means. I did an experiment, and this guy did a completely separate experiment, but that's what this means. His experience is confirming my hypothesis that these carriers will help you if you need them, but if you don't need them, you don't need them. And whether or not the gas impulse threshold that makes you need these carriers is duration or amplitude, I don't know, because his gas port wasn't tuned. Does this mean if he tuned his gas port with an adjustable gas block that the 11.5 inch, that his 14-inch mid-length might not need mechanical unlocking delay? Like if you tuned the gun, would the bolt carrier still have helped him? Maybe. Maybe not. Or does it mean that you need mechanical unlocking delay when you get more than 2.5 inches of dwell length? What if it's just dwell time? What if it has nothing to do with gas port size and it's just dwell time? Maybe. We don't know. We don't know yet. But we do know that you don't need mechanical unlocking delay on a tuned 11.5 inch mid with an H3. And that's crazy. That's a hard data point that I have proven. Like, oh, would we need the delayed unlocking if we went to an H2? What if we reduced our reciprocating mass to an H2 instead of an H3? Then would we need the carrier to delay unlocking for sound? I don't know. Maybe. So, I mean, were there any differences in the three carrier setups if the sound was the same at the ear? If the sound was the same at the ear, did anything change? I mean, was there a rate of fire difference? Yes. Yes, there was a rate of fire difference. So far, it appears on that setup, when tuned, all other things equal, you get about 10 rounds per minute slower with the enhanced LMT and the Surefire than you do with mil-spec. Like in full auto, you get your rate of fire slows down by about 10 rounds per minute. How would I know that? Well, I tested full auto burst with PewSoft. That's how I did that. I need more testing, but right now that's the rate of fire difference that I measured. You also get a bit of a different feel with those two different carriers. I need more full auto research time with them. Like example, I need to do mag dumps. But so far for full auto, I think they're worth it. And I'm glad I have them. So this does have some major implications though. For both the carriers and the 11.5-inch mid-length gas barrel. For one, these carriers can be expensive. Okay? The Surefire complete system is like over $400. And the LMT enhanced carrier is like unobtainium. Okay? But an H3 buffer is cheap and available. And an 11.5-inch mid-length Faxon barrel, like I don't know if they're available right now, but they're not like, that's just a normal barrel cost. It's just a normal barrel. So what I'm saying here is that if you want an 11.5-inch barrel and you want a sweet shooting suppressed AR, I would just get the 11.5-inch mid and an adjustable gas block and get an H3 buffer, and you'll get the same at-the-ear performance as a fancy carrier on that barrel length. I promise. I promise you. I promise you. Like I just did it. I'll publish an article on this eventually, I'm sure. But I just wanted to tell you because I know you guys have been waiting, so I'm literally giving you data right now. Like you heard it here first. Wow, you heard it here first, folks. You heard it here first. 11.5-inch mid with an adjustable gas block tuned with an H3 buffer is the most compact 11.5-inch system you can use. Mil-spec carrier. You're not going to get quieter than that on 11.5-inch. You're just not. So pick a silencer, is what I'm saying. Okay? Now, that's it. Now, it's possible you could do this with an H2 buffer too, and not an H3. But keep in mind, the Surefire system total weighs the same as the standard carrier with an H3. And so to see if that mattered, I would have to test the LMT enhanced with an H2. Because I can't test the Surefire. Because the Surefire, I'd have to reduce the weight of the carrier somehow. And I don't know if I can take a weight out of there or what. I haven't looked at that. So you understand? So I'm eventually going to test with an H2 with the LMT, but not right now. So look. Guaranteed performance from the 11.5-inch mid is gotten with the H3 buffer with an adjustable gas block. Tune your gun, tune your 11.5-inch mid with an H3 buffer, and you have the quietest 11.5-inch that we know of right now. Okay? Okay. This has some big implications for testing silencers. I didn't notice any gas in the face with these configurations. I just didn't. Now, look, I didn't test the gas in the face though, meaning I didn't measure gas particulate concentrations. That's the only way you can test gas in the face. I just shot the weapons. Now, I recorded the rate of fire in full auto. I measured sound at the muzzle and the ear. I think I need to shoot them more to tell you if there's blowback, I guess, quote unquote blowback, but I didn't notice blowback. Now, I didn't do mag dumps in full auto. I did 4-round bursts. I loaded 4 rounds in the mag and then I dumped them. no gas. Okay, that's not a lot of rounds, but the gun was tuned. Now, and the dwell time's super short. Okay, so there you go. Like, that's the data I have right now. I'm sorry, like, I haven't done full characterization yet. But, like, I'm gonna say this one more time. Don't forget it. Write this down. 11.5-inch mid with adjustable gas block with a normal bolt carrier group and an H3 buffer is going to be your quietest 11.5-inch AR. Okay? There's no other way that's going to do it. We don't know of one, because if I'm telling you that the Surefire is equal to them and the LMT are equal to the mil spec, you ain't getting anything quieter than that. You're just not. There's nothing else you can do to that rifle. We're using enough mass so that the carrier unlocking doesn't matter. You understand what I'm saying? Like, that means we are at the threshold of unlock delay, completely and utterly. If I'm wrong, and I very well could be, please email tech@pewscience.com or DM me. Do something. But right now I'm telling you, I'm pretty sure I'm right about the 11.5-inch. So if you're looking for an AR upper to build and you want it to be an 11.5-inch barrel, get a mid-length gas system and be cool. Okay. Topic 4, back pressure. Let's talk about back pressure though. You know, I'm telling you, I didn't notice blowback. I just didn't. Let's talk about back pressure. Do we actually care about the back pressure trait of silencers now? That, like, I just tested this AR, and I told you that I haven't, back pressure didn't really bother me. So do we actually care about back pressure? Or, like, do only some people need to care? I can tell you that with long, heavy, and quiet 30 caliber silencer, like with a big, long, heavy, quiet 30 caliber silencer, known for high back pressure, the sound at the ear was actually the quietest of any silencer I tested. Okay? I tested a louder silencer that has extremely low back pressure, and it was louder at both the muzzle and the ear. It actually dropped the suppression rating a full category at the ear. So the difference was noticeable between the two silencers. Now, back pressure reduction in this case made things louder, because in order to get low back pressure, what do? We make the silencer louder. I'll never forget that. So that's what happened. Now, when I put a 5.56 end cap on the low back pressure silencer, making it a higher back pressure silencer, and which made it quieter at the muzzle, it reduced sound at the ear and it upped the rating at the ear by a few points. So the 5.56 end cap made a difference. This is all on that tuned 11.5-inch mid-length gas with a Surefire optimized bolt carrier group. So right now, guys, for this gun, I'm not sure back pressure is going to matter that much. This doesn't mean that back pressure doesn't matter. It means we might be able to tune guns with a combination of knobs that make back pressure something we don't need to worry about it on the AR at all, really. If you tune the gun right, what I'm saying is you might not care about back pressure. And right now, I think we might know the threshold of quiet for the Shooter Zero and 11.5. I think we might know it. Maybe, I don't know. I need to test the Helios. I have not tested the CGS Helios on 5.56 yet. Once I do, I think I will know the threshold, because I will be able to see if I can get quieter than a really long high back pressure silencer at the ear. And then we will know. definitively, I think, the quietest silencer for the 11.5-inch platform. Now, that might seem like a big statement. A lot of you listening might be like, why? Oh, you're just favoring CGS. No. No. Absolutely not. But look, man, let's talk about the host weapon here. I don't know what else we're gonna do here, guys, for 11.5-inch host tuning. I think I might need to get an 11.5-inch carbine length barrel. But right now, I think this 11.5-inch host is like the P30L of 11.5. You feel me? I'm not saying the P30L is the quietest 9mm pistol, but it's a very quiet 9mm pistol. The 11.5-inch mid-length gas, when tuned, is a very quiet 11.5. Okay. When I say quiet, don't get your hopes up. I don't want you guys to get all your hopes up, but I bet you we can get this 11.5-inch AR to an at the ear suppression rating around that of the short surge on a bolt gun, give or take. I bet you. I bet we can beat the Vox on a bolt gun, is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So picture that. Picture that. On 11.5-inch AR, we can have an at-the-ear suppression rating equivalent to a compact silencer on a 20-inch 308, give or take. Is that a good peg point for you? Isn't that a weird general statement to say? But I think I can say that. I think I can. Am I the only one in the world who can tell you that? Probably. Am I bragging? Yes. Absolutely, I am. What I'm saying is I think on 11.5-inch AR, we can get at the ear suppression close to a 20-inch 308 with a compact silencer. So picture shooting a 20-inch 308 with a kind of a loud silencer, not the loudest, but not the quietest, like a compact, and then picture holding an 11.5-inch AR and it being pretty much the same hearing damage potential at the ear with the quiet silencer. Does that mean the 11.5-inch AR platform, 5.56 platform, is louder than the 20-inch 308 platform? Yes. It means it's a lot louder because you have to use a super quiet silencer to get to the performance at the ear as you need a mediocre silencer on a 308 20-inch. Bolt action, yes. It means that exactly what I told you, exactly what you knew was going to happen, that the 11.5-inch 5.56 AR is loud. Does it mean it's too loud? Well, only you can decide that. I'm going to give you objective data, but I want to set your expectations. And now, notice how I'm giving you a little more quantitative data every time, because that's how long it's taking me to do it, because I'm busy, okay? At least I'm giving you something. I'm not leaving you hanging. I'm giving you some numbers to think about. Okay. Look, I think maybe the Helios makes that way better. Maybe the Helios gets us even further, but somehow I doubt it. I think we're going to be stuck around there because I don't know, man. Maybe the Helios gets us higher, but I think we're going to be sitting soon at the action noise limitations and the muzzle blast limitations because of the short barrel. We'll see what the Helios can do. We'll see what some other quiet silencers can do. Maybe the YHM Turbo, for example. Let's see what it can do. Okay? And that, by the way, this is me talking about that's a good thing to talk about. I almost forgot. This is me talking about the CGS Helios with a solid end cap. I'm not even talking about the vented end cap with the Helios. I don't think I need the vented end cap on the Helios with this gun, with this upper. I'm saying use the solid end cap of the Helios. That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm not saying there's no back pressure, there's no blowback. I'm saying that I didn't notice any and there could be some. So don't go out and start buying everything right now. I mean, look, if you want an 11.5-inch AR, you better buy an 11.5-inch mid-length, though, because it's superior. There's no reason to own an 11.5-inch carbine length. That's stupid, I think. I think you need the longest gas system you can get for every barrel you own. That's what I think. I think the longest gas system possible for the barrel is what you want. That's what I think. Okay, within reason. Don't go crazy. Okay. So what is this? What does this mean for longer 5.56 barrels? Well, it means that there's an at the ear threshold for those two, guys. That's what it means. But I don't know what that's going to be yet. Is it close to the threshold for 11 and a half? I don't know. I mean, it might be if we're action noise limited, but I have a feeling it's a little higher. Maybe the threshold's a little higher, meaning the suppression rating is a little higher for those. Like when you get to an 8, so you get like an 18-inch AR that's properly tuned. What's the loudest that's going to be for you? Or rather, what's the quietest that's going to be? I don't know yet, guys. I don't know yet. Okay? But we're going to find out for you. We're going to find out. And do the silencers make a difference? They probably do to a point. Probably do to a point. But we're going to find that out too. And we're going to get that threshold for you. And it's going to be awesome. Okay? I just want to tell you what I'm doing here. This is taking a while, but you see the kind of stuff we're dealing with as far as variables. But I bet you didn't think we were going to get such cool results so quickly, did you? Aren't you glad I had that 11.5-inch mid-length barrel? Aren't you glad? I'm glad. Plus, it looks awesome with the Knight's armament rail. God, it's a handsome gun. Tell you what, handsome. Okay. Okay. So right now, a major point I want you to take away from this is that 11.5-inch mid-length. Don't concern yourself with a low back pressure silencer right now. I think you'll be disappointed and it'll be loud. I think you want something quiet for this tuned system. Right now, look, on mine, I have a rugged razor with a 5.56 end cap. It's sitting on the gun right now, and it's because it's in my personal collection, and for size, weight, and durability, that's why it's on there. Don't start thinking that's the quietest one, because it's not. But it's what I have that I want for my use. Okay? I haven't analyzed all the data, but that's what I'm running. Okay, is it the quietest? It's not the quietest. But out of the silencers I personally have, does it make sense? Yes. Okay, you're going to have to stay tuned for the review of that silencer on that gun. Okay, I'm going to release that. That's not coming up right now, but I will release it. Okay. Okay, so topic 5. Upcoming testing, public and private. Basically some business updates for you. This is like legit stuff for Pew Science. So because I know a lot of you that listen to this podcast do support Pew Science, I consider you members of the Public Research Cooperative. I consider you almost like my clients, okay? Because you are paying members and I appreciate that support, okay? You're making this happen. So I feel like I should give you updates on the general state of the practice and the state of Pew Science in the industry. So Pew Science has continued to form good relationships with industry parties and manufacturers. We have a few test programs coming up that are private. You folks might see some of that data or you may not. It's going to be up to the manufacturers who have contracts with us, okay? The stuff that we're doing privately with companies is strictly confidential unless a release is authorized. And so you're going to have to stand by for that stuff. If there's an update for you on that thing, I'll let you know. Okay. But no news is good news. Okay. Some public testing will be coming up again. I will be testing some more 30 caliber silencers. Just talk to our supplier about that. We want to make sure to get some more on the board for you guys. I have to retest some of the Surefire stuff. I haven't even released the Surefire stuff because I needed to retest it. So that's coming up. We have a lot of Silencer Co. stuff to get to. We have a lot of Griffin stuff to get to. We got a lot of manufacturers to get to. We got YHM. We got a lot of stuff to get to. We have a lot to do. I want to let you know right now that Dead Air and OSS are not happening right now, okay? Those two manufacturers will not be tested in the upcoming test series. I do not want you to get your hopes up for that right now. Work on that front, on those two fronts, that's being done, okay, to change that for later. But right now, Look, I know that data is in very high demand, but I want to be completely transparent with you guys and tell you that there's literally nothing I can do right now for you, for those two companies. Like, there's nothing I can do. And so I anticipate it's going to be early 2021 before you get stuff like the Nomads and the OSS silencers. So just wait until then. If you're waiting on buying those, just wait then. Just wait. Okay? If you're waiting on my data to buy those things then you're just going to have to wait, and there's nothing I can do. I am taking steps. Pew Science is taking steps to make that happen. And we have done everything. Like, I've done everything from my end that I can do. Literally. So, like, everything in my power. Okay? So, like, don't come to me asking, because I can't do anything for you. Don't come to me and ask me about that anymore. I don't want to be rude, but like I just want to like address this to everybody, like the thousands of people. I mean, by the way, like there's like the listeners in this podcast right now. We just looked at the analytics and it's crazy. So I feel pretty comfortable using this as an information dissemination source now because I know that I'm going to hit like a lot of people, which is good because it's very efficient for me. It saves me a lot of time. Okay, so there's some more 30 caliber stuff that I've already tested that's coming to you as far as reviews. So stay tuned for that. Like, I'm not done releasing what I've already tested. Nothing this week though. There's nothing coming this week. I don't have time. I need to do some more work on prepping for some upcoming test programs. And also I need to continue with the data analysis from the recent 556 stuff. And 300 blackout. Oh, that's a whole other thing. So there's so much data. I'm still working on that. So I haven't had time to write anything for this week. But I just gave you the Sandman-L last week, so it's fine. It's a pretty good pace. Okay, topic 6. Welcome to new Pew Science members. Thank you so much. Thank you for your support. I always thank you guys. It means the world. I say it every time, and it's true. Several of you have joined recently, so welcome. I sent you folks an email. Your support is appreciated, and it is valuable for moving this forward. We're getting serious now, guys, I think. Manufacturers are looking to us for testing and analysis. They've really started to talk to us closely, which I really love. Like, a lot of them, like competitors. Okay, they are competitors to each other, but they're coming to Pew Science. And we treat all those communications are confidential, and we interact with our clients in a confidential way. And what we say to our clients stays between us. Like we sign an agreement, and that's it. That's how that works. And I'm glad to see that manufacturers are trusting us like that, and that means a lot to me. It means that this is a real consulting business now, so that's important. And I don't know, manufacturers are looking to us for testing analysis, and a lot of consumers, including you listening, are looking at Pew Science for data they can trust. Okay? And this requires funding for operations, and every little bit helps. So if you can, join at pewscience.com, okay? Because everything you contribute goes toward R&D and improving what we're doing. Everything that I do for Pew Science feeds back into the state of practice to make sure that we keep doing it. Like, this is literally grassroots. Remember that. And so the goal long term is for Pew Science to develop into a large publicly funded research cooperative. That's really weird to say because, okay, look, first I want to say we're well on our way. Secondly, I want to say typically research cooperatives start in an industry, and companies come together to fund research for the advancement of the state of practice. Like, that's all to like meet a common goal. Like, that's usually how a research cooperative works. Research cooperatives are actually a common entity in different industries. Like, they occur, and I'm part of one in my main career. Okay, so this is like a real thing, and I really enjoy that work. I really enjoy research. It's something I've told you guys I really enjoy, and I get great satisfaction from doing it. It's something I think I have a talent for, and it's something I I find rewarding. So in the firearms industry, the chance for a research cooperative is very low because there are no safety regulations. Like, there's no common interest. There's no common interest for people. Okay? Usually there's something that can benefit the industry at large. So like the closest thing we have for that in this industry is like the American Suppressor Association, right? But they're not really looking to advance the state of practice at all. All they're doing, I mean, I'm not saying they're not doing anything, but what they're doing is political stuff. Like they're trying to protect the rights you have to own the items to begin with. Like they're lobbying for that. Like your money, when you donate to the ASA, you're not donating for hearing research. When you donate to Pew Science, you're donating to hearing research. You hear me? Like, you understand that? See the difference? Like when you donate to the ASA, you're like, oh, maybe we can have silencers in Illinois now, or New York, or whatever you can't have silencers. I don't even know. But like that's what ASA is helping. Pew Science, what we're helping is you to understand how products perform and how to advance the state of the industry and how to make products better. So, as you can see, as the history has shown, the only way to do this, the only way to have a publicly funded research cooperative in the firearms industry is to have one single unbiased party do it and then make the results public. Right? That's what I'm doing. I think that's the only way to do it because this way it can globally benefit and inspire the industry at large because everyone sees the data, and it holds everyone accountable because there's no bias or leaning in any direction. The data's on a level playing field. So that's it. So right now it's silencers. Like silencers are what I picked to start with for Pew Science. I wrote the silencer sound standard to do that. In the future, it may be other things too. Remember I told you about silencer accuracy testing. A lot of you folks have asked about accuracy testing. I've talked about accuracy testing with several industry people. Kevin Brittingham from Q. We just talked about Q earlier in the podcast and the problems they're having with this brace stuff. Remember, he and I talked on his podcast, or when he did mine. I can't remember when we talked about it, but we've talked about accuracy testing. I think he's talked about it separately on his own stuff for years about how it'd be cool to have accuracy testing for silencers. Well, remember I kind of laid down the gauntlet on like several podcasts ago where I was like, if someone does this, I will totally support it. Well, guess what? Remember I told you there was a dude that like emailed me about doing it. He's been busy. And he just got back to me via email. And it's okay, so sir, if you're listening right now, I am so sorry I've not responded to your email. I think you just emailed me today. I want to say it was today. Look, wait, I don't want to butcher this. He deserves respect. Okay, hold on a second here. Oh, one moment, guys. I'm gonna get a different email account. It's loading. Yes, okay, that was this evening. No. Yes, okay. He emailed me today, so I'm not that late. I'm only a few hours. So, okay, if you're listening, sir, I am sorry I've not responded to you yet. I saw it come through. I've just been busy. I'm going to get to it tomorrow, I hope. So, guys, I'm telling you this because this dude with his friend or whoever he's working with, like these guys, they're intelligent, they're organized, they're disciplined, they're motivated, and they've already started to make an effort. So, buckle up, buckaroos. The science is spreading, baby. Like, I don't know how I'm going to help this guy, but I'm going to help him. I don't know how we're going to help him, but Pew Science is going to help this guy. Okay? Like, that's what this is about. This is about grassroots, baby. This is about helping everyone listening to this. This is about getting real data in the hands of consumers, manufacturers, and the industry. How else are you going to make stuff awesome except to have someone shepherd it? I prefer to shepherd it. I don't want to drag it kicking and screaming through thorn bushes and fire. What I want to do is shepherd it through rolling meadows of green grass. Okay, I want Sound of Music here, guys. I don't want the river Styx. Okay, I'm getting long-winded here. It's because I'm tired and it's late. I don't know. That's what I'm trying to do right now, folks. I'm trying to make a difference to this industry. I really am. I know some of you might think it's moving slowly. It probably is. Guys, I'm going as fast as I can. I'm giving it everything. And I'm going as fast as I can with the resources I have and the time I have. Okay? So, with all of that, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to post a picture with this podcast. It's going to be in honor of Q going through this stuff with ATF. I'm going to post a picture of my fix. I took a picture. I took a picture of that thing. You know, I remember I tried to sight it in and the scope mount was messed up. Well, I remounted it. So it's going to be my deer rifle. I'll post a picture showing my deer rifle setup now, the scope and stuff. Because, you know, deer season's coming up. I'm going to have to sight that in, and I'm going to have to blast a whitetail. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for listening. Go sign that Department of Justice letter. Help out the industry. Help us all out. I'll talk to you folks again soon. Bye.